Hello and welcome. It's a very great pleasure of mine to be back with you for another exciting YouTube video. Usually on the various channels which I've had in the past, we cover politics, but I'm going to do something bit different today. I'm going to weigh in on the Harry and Meghan controversy. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I feel um, it's necessary to weigh in on it and to accurately assess the credibility of the Duchess of Sussex. With that said, I will lay out my reasoning for the way I'm going to assess her credibility. Um, and let me say from the outset, let me state my opinion, and then I'll tell you my reasons why I hold that opinion. So my opinion is, and I have to put on my hat as someone who is deeply interested in the law, who's dedicated to the law, and who's going to go to law school. I have to put on my hat and say that as a future lawyer, which I intend to be, I don't find Meghan Markle's testimony credible in the sense that I don't think she experienced the level of animus that she claims to have experienced. She may well have experienced some animus or some animosity or even some curiosity. But I think that is because she comes from a very different background than we're used to seeing the Royals come from. But I don't think that's largely driven on race in this case, because there is no evidence, apart from a occasional public gaffe from His Royal Highness the Duke of Edinburgh. There is no real evidence at any point in the past that any member of the royal family, senior or junior, has demonstrated any racial bias specifically, and I very much doubt that the Queen would permit that. Now, she says she has experienced mental health issues. I can't really dispute that because that's an internal feeling. So I do take her at her word on that, but I don't think it's appropriate to broadcast that and to blame that on the monarchy and to, in a sense, paint the royal family in this negative light because of issues you may by yourself have experienced. I do have genuine sympathy about that. I struggle with depression and post-traumatic stress disorder myself, but I don't think it's particularly appropriate to cast that on other members of the family in such a negative light. Now, as far as her being denied help for that, I don't believe that that is the palace's responsibility to provide help for that. I never went to uh, my family, for instance, and said, I need help. I I went to them and I said, I've made this decision. I'm getting mental health help for myself. Um, and they looked at me and said, okay, but I don't think the palace's responsibility to find a therapist for her, to take the initiative. I think that's Megan's responsibility to take care of your own mental health. So I don't think she should blame the palace for that. As far as Harry, I clearly think Harry is trying to be a good husband. But I think a lot of this has to do with the desire for attention, honestly. And I think Megan wants attention. She doesn't want to be at the back of the phone line, and I think that's what this is about. I don't find her very credible when she says she just tried to fit in, and they made her think about the fact that she's mixed race. I don't find that credible at all, because there's simply no evidence of a prior pattern of racial bias in the royal family. And I don't believe her when she says she doesn't know what she was getting into. It just defies logic. Because of course you would Google it. And I believe that she did make the Duchess of Cambridge cry. I believe that entirely. I don't think they like each other very much. I think the Duchess of Cambridge views the Duchess of Sussex as entirely braggadocious and arrogant and cocky. And I don't think they ever got along. So really, the analysis, in my view, is this was all a publicity stunt, and I don't have any sympathy for them, because I just don't find them entirely credible, especially when they are billionaires and have royal titles. I just don't find them to be sympathetic and, or in this case, credible. And that's a huge thing, is when you make an allegation of discrimination, you have to be credible. And especially since they refuse to say who allegedly made this biased remark. Since they refuse to say, but yet they're willing to put private business out there anyway, that doesn't bode well for the credibility. So I think they've got a lot to answer for, and I think Oprah Winfrey was a softball biased interviewer, especially since there have been reports that they are in business together, which I have not been able to confirm, but there have been those reports. So yeah, I don't find them very credible, and this is the only time I'll talk about this. But that is my view of the situation, and I will see you guys later. Have a wonderful day. I wish you all well.